You compare him, right, to his peers in the parliament, right? You look at that of like PAP, you look at that of WP, right? How the rest of them carry themselves in the parliament, right? He carry himself like he made himself look like super stupid like that.
Just say.
Alright guys, some time ago we discussed about the Amokyosis, and from that exercise we realized there were quite a lot of residents who weren't happy about it. Quite of them were actually quite angry about it. But aside from them, right, there is one man who is angrier than them and is still angry about it. Guess who is it?
Your favorite
Legendary Leong Mun Wai.
Yes. Our good friend Leong Mun Wai. So recently in Parliament, right, he actually came out and voiced his views again, his displeasure about the Amokyosis, despite being corrected about certain misconceptions he had. He did it once again in Parliament just a couple of days ago. Okay, and I'm gonna play a video for you. Alright, so there are two main issues from his speech. The first issue is this. He argues that residents are supposed to make money from SIRS. That is his basis for having SIRS. Okay, if you have a SIRS exercise, residents must make money. If let's say they don't make money, something is wrong. That's his basis. Okay, so because in the Amokyo SIRS exercise, there was a small group of people who had to top up. Because of this, he feels the government has been disingenuous and they have been very uncompassionate to the people. Okay, so that's the first issue.
So he just basically just care about the outcome lah. If you have SIRS, 100% everybody that go through the SIRS exercise have to make
Must make money.
Must make money.
He doesn't care so much about all the nitty-gritty stuff in evaluating the different property, the current property and the new property.
Gain money
Not as
or lose
important.
money. If lose money, that means the system must be either different or something wrong.
Yes, correct. Because all the exercises all make money. So this is the norm. If it goes against the norm, something is wrong here. That's his basis. Okay, so that's the first issue. The second issue is this. I'm going to talk about VERS. Have you guys heard about the Voluntary Early Redevelopment Scheme?
The new one, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know much about it lah.
Okay, so basically this is the difference between SIRS and VERS. I'll just give you a simple graphic. Okay, basically when it's SIRS, the government sees that there's redevelopment potential here. So they will take that area, the estate or whatsoever, and it is compulsory that you give it up. Okay, you don't get a view on it lah, but they will compensate you also lah. For the VERS, this is where they feel your lease has gone over 70 years. Maybe they can repurchase it, then they can do some redevelopment.
So it's
and
more
stuff.
optional.
So they give you that option.
Okay.
So this one you can choose one to one. For the SIRS, everything is clear cut. They have their modus operandi, their process of how they evaluate using a third party, look at the market prices, evaluate the property price. All this has been done many times, and they continue to use the same process. For the VERS, because it is a new system, a new scheme, the terms of offer have not been concretized yet. Okay, it will be revealed later, but what we know is it is not going to be as generous as the SIRS. Okay,
Because the lease only left like 30.
yes. So you cannot expect so much also lah. Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Leong Mun Wai has painted an impression of the VERS. The terms of offer have not been finalized yet. Leong Mun Wai has speculated that the VERS is gonna be like Amokyo SIRS and people are gonna lose money. So nothing like this has been said by anyone yet, but right now he's coming out to say this. So because of this, the Senior Minister of State for MND, Simen, she came out, she said, that is not the proper framing. You are giving people the wrong idea about VERS. I'm going to play the video where she said this.
So I believe what Mr. Leong is doing here is to shape certain ungrounded expectations of the VERS scheme which are at odds with what we have shared so far.
Okay, so that is what she's saying. Basically, you are painting the wrong image of the VERS scheme. Okay, and Leong Mun Wai rebutted her, and I want you guys to pay very close attention to what exactly he's saying. Okay, this is his response to her.
I think contrary to what the SMS has said, I think the government actually has shaped certain expectations in our society already. I'm not the one who's reshaping the expectations. For example, SIRS, all the past SIRS, the residents have received cash and get an equivalent flat, and with a 99-year lease. Isn't that an expectations cultivated by the government? Am I reshaping expectations? I'm just saying the Ang Mo Kio SIRS residents have a totally different package, and government, please admit to it.
Okay, so this is his response. What are your thoughts?
Package.
This one is right after Seaman questioned him about the verse, right?
Yes. So he basically talked about verse. Seaman called him out and said, "You are putting the wrong framing for verse. Don't do it." And this was his response.
This guy never even talk about verse, no. In reply to Seaman,
Exactly.
this guy went back to SIRS, no.
Exactly.
And this is the thing about him. Okay, you realize that he like to, he cannot confuse those guys. That's his tactic, no.
Okay, so one other thing that I found a bit strange, right, is he ended by saying, admit it. What exactly is he asking the government to admit? Because we can tell, right, that they look at SIRS with two fundamental lenses. The government has a process that it follows. Okay, their process is basically they get a private valuator, determine it through looking at the market prices and all. What is an appropriate valuation for the current estate, the current house? What is an appropriate valuation for the replacement flats? Okay, based on that, these two have their own valuations. Let's put some subsidies on the replacement flats. We tag on some subsidies, we tag on some grants, we tag on some minusing of your expenses, and based on all of that, usually what happens is you will be getting some money
Profit.
because this is going to be cheaper than your current flat, right? That is the fundamental way the government does it. But for our good friend Leong, he looks at it, if it's a SIRS exercise, people must make money. And people have been making money all this while. So that is his fundamental idea. It's a make money scheme. Now that it is not making money for them, something must have gone wrong. Please look into it.
And what should the government admit?
Exactly.
They are not hiding anything. They are telling you, okay, Ang Mo Kio is coming up. You are going to lose money. There is certain grant, and this is how much estimatedly you will lose. This is a valuation, and this is the new estimate value of your new replacement flat. There is nothing that they are emitting. They are basically copy and paste the SIRS system into this Ang Mo Kio SIRS, and it just so happen, unfortunately, that this Ang Mo Kio SIRS lose money.
I think in the whole Ang Mo Kio estate, only 1% is losing money.
Yes,
right?
only 1% after everything, because at first there was a slightly bigger percentage. Then they introduced the lease buyback scheme, they introduced 50-year lease and
So
stuff.
they are actually providing more to help people
More
to
options.
gain more.
Yes.
Okay.
But that is not the issue Leong Mun Wai sees. So he sees people lose money here, which means you did something different here. And he's getting them to admit that they did something different. But the thing is, how can they admit that they did something different when they've been doing things the same?
Delusional.
Okay, so from his arguments, right, it seems like there are only two things you can conclude. The first thing is this: he's constantly mistaken. Even as he puts forth his case studies and everything, he's constantly mistaken, and he remains ignorant about where he's mistaken. First scenario. Second scenario, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's doing it on purpose. Maybe some agenda whatsoever, but he's doing it on purpose. So these are the two possible scenarios based on all his different speeches this parliamentary sitting, the previous ones and all. I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think it is the former or the latter?
I think it's a formal. I think he's like very ignorant. Okay. So based on like why would I say that, right? Because I do have friends that living in the West Coast
Really?
GRC. I do have friends living in the West Coast GRC. They supported PSP back the last election because of their leader Tan Cheng Bock. But after Tan Cheng Bock loses and then he retires, right? My friends come up to me and say that, hey, you know what? Their view on PSP changes because they say that Leong Mun Wai did not carry himself well in Parliament.
Okay,
Yeah, so
understand.
I think even like his own supporter would see that of him, right? Then maybe he's really ignorant now.
So you believe that this is the reason why he's ignorant lah?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that though, because in his video, right, he actually presented some case studies. And if you have case studies, right, it must means that you have done your research. And if you have done your research, right, you must know that there are some areas that you are not right.
Exactly.
And if you are not right, and you are still continuing to pursue the argument, right, I mean, what does it say?
Purposely.
Yes, I think he's doing it
You know
deliberately.
exactly what you're doing. That's a good point. KP, what are your thoughts? You think he's doing it deliberately or he's just
Ignorant.
conveniently very mistaken and ignorant?
Okay, we have seen different the Maoist parliamentary sitting speech and whatnot, right? Okay, I feel he is ignorant, more of like simple-minded lah, Okay, and you can see this right from the things that he say, you will know how he views certain things. Okay, for example, in this case, the sirs and verse, the sirs, he just see it as if the sirs make money for so many projects, Ang Mo Kio sirs didn't make project, it must mean that your system is wrong. Okay, or either that you implement a different system on these Ang Mo Kio sirs, which is not the case. Okay. One more thing, you guys remember GST talk? He looked at the entire GST increase, right? He give a story, an analogy, the Akong and Asing story.
Yep.
It is a very one-dimensional view, where it is either a plus or minus. A lot of things is just a plus or a minus, this or that. It's not more of maybe this is affected by this, therefore this. Yeah, it is always, if it's this, it must
There's no
mean
deeper
that.
thought to it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I feel there's a possibility, right, that this is just out of convenience. Why? Because I think she's making a very good point, right? If let's say you're putting across good arguments for your side, it must mean that you have evaluated and at least seen what is on the other side. So if you have seen what is on the other side and you're pushing across a simple narrative, right, I feel you must be targeting the emotions of people. Because like the Akong Asing story, it is playing on emotions. It is right.
100%.
Yeah, it's playing on emotions. You are right in saying that he dumbed it down, made it very simple so that the audience can understand. That's right.
But now you're saying that there's a motive in doing that.
I am suggesting that there might be a motive.
He's trying to catch the ignorant.
Really, man? You all think like that's so
You know why?
highly of him,
No,
man?
you know why or not? Okay, firstly, this is like those like traditional opposition party where they just bash government. Okay, like what you say about the Asing and Akong story, right? You know how bad he paid Akong to be or not?
Exactly.
Akong take a lot of money. Akong have a lot of money, but Akong don't give Asing money when he need. Basket, you
And it
down
is
down
very
GST increase
relatable.
to that.
And it's very relatable, which is why I'm suspecting his motive. Because in that scenario, right, he dumbed it down, made it very relatable, very easy to understand. People will agree. And in this scenario, he made it very easy to understand also. Government got so many different things they think about. Wow, the evaluation for this, the subsidies for this, the grants for this, all that, throw away. We know one thing. We have seen it so many times. Sirs make money. You know it. You touch your heart, you tell me. Sirs make money or lose money.
I don't know whether he dumbed it down, right? He tried to dumb it down, right?
He jumps that.
Really. Okay, honestly, you compare him, right, to his peers in the parliament, right? You look at that of like PAP, you look at that of WP, right? How the rest of them carry themselves in the parliament, right? He carry himself like he made himself look like super stupid like that. Like he keep like continue to say his point, continue to say his point until one point, right? There's one parliamentary meeting, right? Where the PAP like, hey, I didn't tell you cut you off. Like he didn't carry himself well, eh.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But what it shows is this: he's either stupid. Okay, sorry, he's either stupid or he's feigning it. If we know that this guy is from RI, He has run multiple corporations and stuff.
He's from RI.
He's from RI.
Oh wow.
Dumb people do not go to RI.
Then
So if he is not stupid, it can only mean he's feigning it, right?
yeah.
Right or not?
Oh, you're doing a damn good job, bro.
So what do you guys think? Do you think it is more likely he actually is ignorant about a lot of things? Or do you think he actually knows what he's doing and he's doing it deliberately? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!